Newsweek, 8th of March 2024, 10,000 more Indian troops are moved to China's Unrest border. The moment has come for India to protect its borders from a hegemonic China, as China has been conducting an all-out battle against the Indian subcontinent. Tensions between the two Asian heavyweights are high, and India plans to send 10,000 more troops and reallocate more soldiers to the tense border with China. As to a March 7 Bloomberg report quoting senior Indian officials, a 10,000-strong battalion of soldiers previously stationed on the country's western border has been reassigned to guard a portion of its border with China. Thousands of soldiers who were stationed on India's western border have been released and are now being reallocated to strengthen the country's border with China. India has increased military readiness along its disputed border with China, suggesting that tensions between the two nuclear-armed countries may rise. The readjusting of forces occurred against a bloody fight in the eastern Ladakh region's Galwan Valley in June 2020. This is the first fatal conflict in over 40 years along the disputed boundary. A terrible battle broke out between China and India in 1962 over the disputed line of actual control, LAC, a disorganized set of borders dividing the two superpowers. Both nations view the LAC differently and have overlapping claims to territory in several areas along the border. Rajnath Singh, India's defense minister, indirectly pointed at China as he cautioned New Delhi that it would respond with appropriate force to any country that attacked it. "Our military will retaliate decisively if someone strikes India, whether from the air, land, or sea. We have never invaded a nation or taken over even a tiny portion of its territory." However, Singh stated at Thursday's NDTV Defense Summit 2024 that we are ready to respond appropriately if someone looks down on us. As the two sides increased their military presence along the disputed border, a physical battle in June 2020 claimed the lives of 20 Indian troops and at least 4 Chinese soldiers. A prolonged military stalemate in the eastern Ladakh region occurred following the incident. Both countries have maintained a sizable military presence, with an estimated 50,000 soldiers on each side. To end the current border standoff, the Chinese and Indian military have had 21 rounds of negotiations. The most recent round occurred on February 19 at the Chushul-Moldo border meeting site in eastern Ladakh. China hopes to keep India occupied in the north as it develops its aircraft carrier groups to rule India from the south. Senior Colonel Zhang Zhougang, a spokesman for the Chinese Defense Ministry, recently commented on the 21st round of talks. He accused Beijing of lying and hoped that China and India would reach an amicable agreement. China places a high value on military-to-military relations with India and hopes that both countries will reach a common understanding, build mutual trust, resolve conflicts amicably, and work together to preserve peace and tranquility along their borders, Zhang stated on February 29 during the monthly press briefing of the military ministry. In a statement released after the 21st session of talks, the Indian side sought the complete disengagement of troops from the remaining regions where troops from both sides remain posted. China no longer recognizes India's call for the soldiers to leave the country. Zhang reacted to India's declaration seeking withdrawal by saying the comments above are factually incorrect. Bloomberg revealed that a newly formed battle command would also oversee an already existing detachment of 9,000 soldiers previously assigned to the disputed border with China, further solidifying the military posture. According to Bloomberg, the combined force will protect a 532 kilometers (330.57 miles) frontier that divides the northern Indian states of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh from China's Tibet area. According to Bloomberg, the deployment highlights this area's strategic significance and growing sensitivity in India's defense strategy. It is supported by specialized artillery and air support. Newsweek requested a statement from the Chinese embassy in New Delhi and a response from India's Ministry of External Affairs. India's Home Affairs Minister, Amit Shah, charged China in February of trying to recreate the circumstances of the 1962 war, which had a lasting impact on Sino-Indian relations. China revealed its true nature during this time, as in 1962 when the COVID pandemic was at its worst. "We didn't lose an inch of territory because we stood our ground," Shah said in a statement obtained by Newsweek. His remarks in the lower chamber of the Indian Parliament, the Lok Sabha, demonstrate New Delhi's unwavering position against Beijing's aggression and the continued geopolitical difficulties along the disputed 2,100-mile border region known as the reallocate.